Hey baby dolls, it's Ashley, and today I am going to be showing you my go-to day-to-day brush collection. So if you want to see all of the brushes that I have really put together to make my personal perfect collection, you are in the right place. Just keep watching. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with my face brushes and then move on to all of my eye brushes, because I do have a lot more eye brushes than I do face brushes. And what I will say is that all of the face brushes that I have, I pretty much use every single one of them every single time that I do my makeup. But the eye brushes, it's really like I have put together every brush I could possibly need, so I do not use even half of them every time that I do my makeup. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and talk about all of my face brushes, which I've got right here. These are, I believe, all pretty much drugstore brushes. So let's start with my foundation brush. This is the Up and Up complexion brush, and I got this at Target, and this is seriously, I think, the best foundation brush I've ever used. I absolutely love it so much. I've loved it since the very first time I ever tried it. Next is my little concealer. For concealer, I do use one of these little knockoff oval brushes. And this one, my mom actually ordered for me off of Wish, and it turned out to be great. It's not like bendy or flexible like a lot of the other oval brushes are, but the bristles themselves are so soft, and it works amazingly for blending out my concealer. All right, so then next is the e.l.f. small tapered brush, and what I usually use this for is to set anywhere I applied concealer with powder. I typically use the same powder to set my whole face, but I use two different brushes. Under my eyes and on the other places where I put concealer, I use this little brush, and then everywhere else I use this big fluffy Real Techniques powder brush. And these both are amazing, like just so good. And so for my bronzer, I use this e.l.f. brush, and this brush, I believe it's called the complexion brush. It doesn't say on here it just says e.l.f., but this is what it looks like. It's kind of fanned out and fluffy, but it's not too thick this way, so that like if I wanted to use it to do like a contour line right here, I could, or to do bronzer, I can flip it sideways like this and just kind of do big sweepy motions. And then for blush, I have this Real Techniques blush brush, and I love this because it's just so like big and fluffy. I don't know, I just love this big fluffy brush. And for a lot of people, I have heard a lot of people say that they actually don't like this because it's too big for them to use as a blush brush, but for me it's kind of like the perfect size. See, if I like smile, and what I do is I put the blush, I put it like here, kind of on the heel of the brush. And so then when I apply it like this and sweep up, so that it's like this part of the brush is applying the product to my face, and then as I'm sweeping up, this part of the brush is blending it out for me. So it's like I can apply blend all in one sweeping motion. Now, of course, nobody just goes whoof and they're done, but you know, it's just, I don't know, that's just my philosophy, how I like to do it. And then last but certainly not least is this e.l.f. highlighting brush. And I really like this brush. It's not too big and it's not too small. It's just absolutely perfect. It's the perfect size, in my opinion, for applying highlight. That's it actually took me a while to find a highlighting brush that I really liked, and this really has won me over. Right, and so next we're going to move on to eye brushes. All right, so first is just this little spoolie brush, and this is just your standard typical spoolie brush. There is absolutely nothing special about it. Next is this e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush, and I just really like this one. So I guess let's just go ahead and do all my e.l.f. brushes real quick. The next one is this e.l.f. blending brush, and I actually have two brushes by e.l.f. that are called blending brushes. So this is the first one, and then this is the second one. The black one just says blending brush, the white one says blending eye brush, but they're both just blending brushes by e.l.f. Then next is the e.l.f. It's just called the eyeshadow brush, and this is just a really nice brush for packing color on. Then I have the e.l.f. defining brush, which I use for a lot of different things, but I think the thing I use it for the most is to apply color into my crease. Like if I want to make a really defined line in my crease and then go in and blend that out. Next is the e.l.f. smudge brush. There we go. And just a typical smudge brush. Next, I have the e.l.f. eye crease brush. It's just a cool little round crease brush. I like this a lot. So next I'll move on to the Wet n Wild brushes that I carry with me. So the first one is this one, and I do believe that this is the small eyeshadow brush. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called when you buy it in the store. And this is just, again, a good packing brush. The next one looks like this, and it's just a little angled brush, very small. I'm not sure if they call this a defining brush, an angled brush, a brow brush, or a lining brush, to be honest, because little brushes like this are marketed as all of those at different times. So this is what it looks like though. It's just a very small little angled brush. All right, and then the other one is this one, and this is just a nice fluffy brush, and I don't know if they call this a crease brush or a blending brush, but you know, the brush. So I guess next I'll talk about the Real Techniques brushes that I have, because I do have a few of those. The first one is the fine liner brush, and it really is just this teeny tiny fine little brush that I use anytime I want to do gel liner on my lid. Then the next one is the accent brush, and this is about the same size as that little Wet n Wild angled brush, just it's shaped differently. It's almost like a dome brush, but really, really tiny. And then the last Real Techniques brush I have with me is the base shadow brush, and this is like it's supposed to be a packing brush, but it's kind of big and fluffy for a packing brush. So I use it, like it says, as to apply just base to set my entire eye once I've put like primer on it, and sometimes as a packing brush or sometimes as a blending brush. It's actually super versatile, and that's part of the reason why I like it so much. And then last but certainly not least, this actually may be one of my favorite eye brushes that I carry, is it's an Ipsy L34 Blend Beauty brush, and it also says SL Miss Glam, so I'm pretty sure it was a collab between a YouTuber and Ipsy, and it is just, again, a blending crease brush. And this was actually, I think, the first like actual blending brush that I ever got, and I love it. And like I said, it is to this day probably my favorite eye brush that I carry with me, and that is it. So I know that for my go-to day-to-day brushes, that's kind of a big set, but like I said, I don't use every single one of them every single day. That is just what I carry around with me to know that any brush I could possibly need, I've got it covered. But I hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. Leave those comments down below. Let me know what you thought. And again, as always, if you have any suggestions of videos you'd like to see on my channel in the future, leave them in those comments down below. Please subscribe before you go. I put out new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So if you hit that little subscribe button down there, you will never ever miss one. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye.